What's up, Bulls Nation? It's the Bloody Horns podcast. I'm your host, Justin. Let's get into it, man. Let's talk about the trade deadline. We are 4 days away from the trade deadline, and there's a lot of people on Twitter saying if AK doesn't move DeMar DeRozan by Thursday, that's malpractice. That's front office malpractice. And we can sit here, we can speculate, we can say that, thought process, basic logic is DeMar DeRozan is a free agent this coming offseason. Either he's leaving or you're going to pay him a pretty hefty contract, so you should probably trade him. It makes sense logically, but the fact of the matter is, if you look around the landscape of the league, there might just not be people calling for DeMar DeRozan right now. Let's look around the league, right? Philadelphia 76ers, they were in rumors last week for DeMar DeRozan. Joel Embiid injury changes everything. The only reason you would trade for DeMar DeRozan if you're the Philadelphia 76ers is because you look at the East and you say, hey, this shit is weak. We can bring in DeMar DeRozan. We can make a push to get over the top. We can try to make a title push this year. Without Joel Embiid, that all goes out the window. Without Joel Embiid, that team is dog shit. So the Joel Embiid injury, it's a meniscus surgery. It's questionable, man. They think he's going to be ready by the time the playoffs start, but we've all seen with meniscus injuries and meniscus surgeries, you never really know what that timetable looks like. So they're out. New York Knicks, they're a team that has long been thought of for DeMar DeRozan. They got such a good thing going right now. They're playing top-notch basketball. I think they're the best team in the East since January. So I don't see them making that kind of move and disrupting what they got going on over there. Look around the rest of the league. Sacramento Kings are a team that has made a lot of sense to me on paper. They need a fourth quarter closer. We saw that against the Bulls the other night. They almost blew that game despite being up 30. They could use DeMar DeRozan's services, but there's been no buzz about it in the NBA that they're even interested. So they're out. DeMar has been rumored for the Lakers for years. The Lakers don't really have a trade package for DeMar DeRozan. You look at their current basketball team, he doesn't really do much for them anyway, so they're out. I don't know if there's a team you can name that realistically makes sense for DeMar DeRozan. The Miami Heat will be thrown in there because of the Duncan Robinson contract and because they're the Miami Heat, and they're always in rumors, but Jimmy Butler and DeMar DeRozan, they do not make any sense together. If you think DeMar DeRozan and Nikola Vucevic overlap with where they start their offense, watch a Heat game. Jimmy Butler plays just as much in the mid-range as DeMar DeRozan. So there's not a team out there that it makes sense for them to trade for DeMar DeRozan, much less give up assets to go get DeMar DeRozan. And it makes you question, what does his free agent market look like this offseason? Because I'm a huge DeMar DeRozan fan. I've been on record saying DeMar DeRozan has outplayed his contract. He's making $28 million this year. I think he's due for a raise, or I've been on record saying he's due for a raise. But when you really break it down across the league, is he really due for that raise? Is that raise really coming for DeMar DeRozan? And you can question it. You look at the landscape of the league. I just laid out that trade landscape. None of those teams are going to sign him to big money either. So what is DeMar DeRozan looking at this coming off season? Who are the Bulls going to be bidding against if the Bulls do decide they want to bring back his services? If the Bulls do decide they want to bring DeMar DeRozan back, I pray to God they don't do what they did with Nikola Vucevic last year. Last year, they signed Nikola Vucevic to his extension within minutes of free agency opening up. They didn't even let Vuce go out and try to find his market. And I've been on record, I've been hammering this point that if they would have just let Vuce go out there and say, hey, man, go out there. We want you back here in Chicago, but go out there, see what your market is. We're going to offer you $12 million a year. We're going to lowball you. If you can go out, you can get a better offer from one of these teams. Let us know. We'll match it. Otherwise, have fun. Do the same thing with DeMar DeRozan this offseason. Or I shouldn't say do the same thing because they didn't do that, but do that with DeMar DeRozan this offseason. Look at him. Say, hey, man, here's what we think you're worth, 10 to 12 million. Go out onto that free agent landscape. See what you're getting offered out there. If you get a better offer than that, by all means, come to us with it, and we'll assess if we want to match it or not. We love having you here in Chicago. You're a great culture setter, but this is what we think you're worth. That's what free agency is all about. If you can get a better offer somewhere else, by all means, my dude, go do it, but I don't think you're going to. So the Bulls should play some hardball this offseason. And when you look at the salary cap situation of a lot of these teams in the league too, they're not going to have the salary cap to make a big DeMar DeRozan offer. So I question if DeMar is going to be moved by Thursday because I don't see the trade landscape out there. And then I question what it's going to look like for him this offseason as a free agent, because that salary cap situation where his needs are going to, where teams' needs he's going to fit, I question that as well. I don't really know what the DeMar DeRozan thing looks like. I just know if the AK doesn't move him by Thursday, I'm not going to be that mad because I'm just going to assume the market wasn't there for him. But if you guys aren't subscribing to this video, please hit that subscribe button. Appreciate all the follows on here. If you're not following on social media, throw me a follow at Horns Bloody, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever you do in your social medias on, I'm on there. Take it easy, guys. Bulls are back tomorrow night against the Minnesota Timberwolves.